that we are live, and here in California, I say ahoy. That's because I'm typically on a sailboat, so I try to bring that back. And I know that that has other implications in other languages, but whether it's bon dia, hello, ahoy, bonjour, we are from all around the world, and we are here on the ScaleUp Heroes podcast. The reason why we're here is because we're taking the best minds who have the most practical and real life experience so that we can basically help other people with these heroic skills. And I know we asked everyone to wear their hero capes, but I appreciate that you don't want to be flashy and that you just put them in the drawer or something like that. I mean, we don't want to make people, intimidated. But I'm excited today because we have an amazing host, and I'm going to try this here. It is Jordi Capdevila Espitia. All right, we got a thumbs up on that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We're going to be talking about scaling up marketing. We have a lot of panelists with a lot of great information. So Jordi's going to be the ringleader of that. And if at any point you guys want to see more or you want to learn more about what Mike and Mary have with basically the ScaleUp Heroes podcast behind the scenes, it's scaleupacademy.io, scaleupacademy.io. All right, I'm going to hand over the microphone to Mr. Jordi. Jordi, take it away. Let's get into some questions and some answers and get heroic about it.
Hey, let's do it. Well, thanks for the intro. This is Jordi from Barcelona. Hola. I'm going to present a little bit the speakers that we have here today. It's an honor to be the moderator of such a lineup. I'm very pleased to learn from you all, guys. And I'll do a small intro about what I do first, so you have like a reference, then you can talk about your company and what you do there, what you're trying to achieve. So I'm the marketing head at ForceManager. ForceManager is a sales enablement tool. We are, so you can understand, a mobile first CRM. We plug into different CRMs, or we can be a standalone tool, and we are designed first for mobile. So the people that enjoy our app the most are those sales reps that are out in the streets and having a lot of visits, calls, and very busy. So we are their preferred sales assistant, so to speak. And I run the marketing department. We are a 120 employees company. We are in Series B and expanding across Europe, Latin America, and now the US. We have big announcements for the fall, and it's a very exciting time here. And now I will let you guys, the true protagonists here, to introduce yourself. So Dave, if you want to take it over from San Francisco, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Dave Dabbah, the Vice President of Marketing at Agora.io. Agora.io is a real-time communications company. We specialize in voice, video, and interactive broadcasting APIs and SDKs. Like Jordi, we're in Series B as well. We have actually cleared 200 employees around the world, and we really are expanding pretty rapidly across the globe. We like to say, and this is the tagline, we like to say that we're providing real-time communications for the next billion users. And I'll pass it back to Jordi.
That's great. Thanks, Dave, and welcome. I'll bring the next panelist back home. We have Xavier Fàbrega from Exoticca, and it's surprising that I cannot pronounce that. This is like I'm in English now. Xavi, endavant.
Thank you, Jordi. So hello, everybody. So that's Xavier Fàbrega, the Chief Marketing Officer from Exoticca. Exoticca.com. So, and we are an OTA, an online travel agent focused in long-haul destination. But before that, I started my business career, my digital business career in Grupo Intercom. So focused in Manchester, an educational lead generation vertical. And now I'm leading the marketing and business development team in Exoticca. And now we are in 4 different countries. So trying to do our international rollout as fast as possible.
Awesome. Thank you, Xavi. Now we're going to travel again across the ocean. And we have Alon from Kustomer.
Hey, Jordi, thank you. Welcome back to New York. Alon from formerly Kustomer, just left a few days ago to advise to different startups in the go-to-market and marketing space. Kustomer is a very innovative company that changes the perception of service and experience to focus on the customer identity versus the ticket or the transaction. So I strongly recommend for anybody listening to explore more about how to drive service, which is customer first versus transactional first. And that's the reason that great B Round company exists and is making a lot of trends. Happy to be here. Thanks a lot for the intro.
Thank you. Well, it's really exciting to have you all here, guys. We have a lot to talk because we have a good composition of B2B and B2C companies, which is usually a big topic or a big deal in marketing because, you know, at the end of the day, communications, it's human to human, but I feel like, and I know that there are like a lot of differences between those tactics that can be applied to B2B companies and those that can be applied to B2C companies, especially in terms of channels. So I think the first discussion that we can have probably is about B2B versus B2C. What experience do you guys have, especially in Agora, Dave? In your case, since you're focused on gaming and social networking, what is your effort mainly? B2B driven?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've spent my whole career in B2B marketing, and I always like to tell my friends who are in consumer marketing that they have it easy. So, you know, B2B marketing is you know, really a challenging thing because you're ultimately really trying to figure out how do you target a space or a niche that's really small. And so how do you get in front of that specific audience that you're going at? So at Agora specifically, we actually have two separate targets that we have to actually hit in order for us to really sell and expand our user base. One of those targets is the always hard to hit developer target. As you all know, developers love to turn off ads in their browsers. So, you know, how do you advertise to somebody that doesn't see advertising? So that's, you know, one of the first, you know, big challenges that we have in marketing to developers. And then the second market that we really have to go after is product owners. And luckily for us, product owners will leave their ads actually on. From a tactical perspective, I was chatting with Ryan a little bit earlier today, and you know, for developers, really getting out and putting the brand out into hackathons is strategically one of the big things that we do. Building a really strong developer community is also something that really works well. Not only for us, but also for the developers, so that the developers can learn from each other, learn how their other colleagues are implementing some of the things that that companies do with Agora IO. What's really interesting is, like, you know, what our products and services are actually being used for today. So we're seeing everything from, you know, peer-to-peer video to video calls inside an application, all the way to the gamification of retail, which is, you know, actual video to broadcast in a retail gamification concept. So I think for us, you know, bringing it back to lead tactics, it's really been about casting a narrow net against the two separate target markets that we go after.
Yeah, you definitely spoke about two buyer personas, right? That you definitely have to address differently, I guess.
Yeah,
exactly. And then moving to B2C, Xavi, how do you segment your buyer personas? At the end of the day, you have like a few, I guess, but in terms of lead generation, how do you achieve it like across a segment of like so many people probably?
So in terms of B2C, so I totally agree with Dave that it's a bit. It looks a bit easier because you are target all the consumers, so you don't have to go just with the B2B or businesses. They are that behind the people, so it's easy. It's much easier because you have more consumers to that are looking for your product. But it's totally true that probably the process that you get the leads or the purchase funnel, it's a little bit difficult, or I wouldn't say difficult. I would say that your cost per acquisition would be much lower, but also your lifetime value. So you have to balance the cost that you have to get your user, and also that user just usually buy your once per year, once per time, or once ever. So B2B, it's if you work quite good in terms of loyalty and repetition from your own customers, you could have a lot of revenue every year for your customers. But as a B2C company, so we are all the time looking for new keywords in terms of SEO, SEM. So you have to be you have to buy all media that it's interesting for your users to get to impact to all your customers, and then just a low conversion rate to get a lot of leads. And then once you get the lead, so you have to get that lead that make it a buyer. So you then get leads, but not customers. So you have to call that lead through your call center. So that means lots of thousands of calls per day, sorry. And also by email marketing, also you have to send a thousand of emails. So that's probably it's easy to have users and customers and leads, but not so easy to get real customers and loyal customers.
Definitely, a lot of data for sure that you have to drill down. And why did you start in B2C? Xavier was wondering.
I spent all my professional career focused in B2C. So my experience in B2B is just as an advisor or just helping some friends that are fighting in the B2B field. But so that's why I said so. I can barely understand B2B market, but I was more focused in B2C. That's more technical in terms of marketing. You need to be more much better than your competitor, not even with a better product, because sometimes you can have even exactly the same product that your competitor, but you need to be more efficient in terms of acquisition, marketing campaigns, and also converting them to your customers.
Definitely a competitive space for sure. And Alon, what do you have to take on this, since I think that you were in B2B, but pretty sure that you had experience in both sides as well.
Yeah, so I'm the hybrid. So my focus with the companies I've worked at and with advisory or full-time roles is it's what is called today officially B2B2C, which is, as you guys know well, it's the eyes of the consumer or the customer, the value that they gain, whether it's effective communication, or if it's a great customer service, or if it's a ability to have e-commerce, conversational commerce, all of those elements, digital, non-digital solutions. B2B2C is telling the story from the voice of the consumer, the eyes of the consumer, in a way that then the CTA, the call to action, is about, well, Miss Buyer or buyer personas, I think Dave started talking about, you should realize that your consumers want this. So I'm a total B2B guy, always been, but always a B2B2C storyteller that starts from the value proposition, the why, all the way back to the result. And the challenge with that today is it's very hard to do paid in B2B. And it's very ineffective sometimes. I think Dave mentioned about the lack of control of advertising, actually media, even reaching an audience. It's all about content and influence marketing today, which I love because it goes to the B2B2C stories. And that is what I've been using a lot recently, especially with the higher enterprise, not the lower mid-market, but the mid-market is about content and earned and trying to get inbound and replicable patterns. The enterprise side, which is a longer sales cycle, 6 to 12 months usually, there's a lot of attribution and touch points about different content being served at the right time, through diverse media, events, webinars, and so forth. And for me, that's the most exciting thing today in marketing, and glad to talk about it later on.
Great. Thank you, Alon. Definitely, this is really interesting what you were pointing out. I feel like here at ForceManager, it's sort of, I wouldn't say easy, but at the end of the day, you have like different channels to get the leads out of it. But in the sales process, in the sales funnel, when these prospects move along the sales funnel, it gets all the way to like, a sales manager that has a face and talks to another face. And it converges there, the B2B to the B2C. You need to have the right content for the right audience, and the alignment of marketing and sales, I guess, it's crucial there to enable that content that marketing is creating and triggering it to the sales department so they can use it effectively to all the way through the consideration stage and move those prospects that they have, thanks to also marketing efforts, all the way to customers. And I like to say that it doesn't just end there, but it goes all the way to operations and the projects that those people have. And it's not just getting customers, but it's also a matter of like getting those customers really happy and delighted. I hear like a little bit of noise in the background. I don't know, like someone out there. If you can hear me well, it's definitely not me. I'm like here with my plant at the office in sunny Barcelona.
I think your plant is making noises.
Yeah, it's complaining.
That's the one.
Water.
Okay, after this first discussion about B2B versus B2C, since you are growth hackers, you're BPOs of marketing, you need to be accountable of the ROI. Here for the audience, I think it's really interesting as well to know a little bit about your tricks. I want to like get down to those channels that you use the most, those that you like the most. And for this purpose, I think we're going to start with Xavi. And can you tell me like what is those channels that work the best for B2C, and then we will compare it to B2B. Like, is it Facebook ads? Is it like Instagram, influence marketing? What do you guys use?
Yeah, it's always, it depends. So it depends on your focus. Then if you are focused on just grow as fast as possible, and you don't care about the results or the return of investment, so probably you will work with all of them. That would be the answer, so all of them. But if you are at the moment, so for my expertise in education field and also travel, so the most interesting channel could be SEO and also SEM. And if you have a database of users, so email marketing would be great in terms of return on investment and also returning your customers to buying again your product. So that, and also again, a lot of data to analyze and understand to get the most from your budget. I totally agree with Alon. So B2B, it's more about telling a story and also having a lot of inbound doing a lot of inbound marketing, but the same for the B2C. So at the moment, people is looking for a big brand and not just the cheapest offer. So people prefer to pay a little bit more, but into a company or in a website that it's more that looks like better and it's more confident. No, the people may get more confident with your user. And also if you have a brand well known in your country, so it doesn't matter if you have a little bit expensive prices, because you can compensate that with your brand and other added value. So, but if I have to choose from the different channels, I would choose totally for the SEO and direct and email marketing, but that it takes time. So you need to prepare content. You need to optimize all of them in terms of SEO. So and time, no one will ensure that even if you even having a great SEO strategy and the best content and even the best original content and opinion from your user, reviews, etc. So no one will guarantee that you will be the number one. So you have to have a different combination of all the channels, not only for the results. So it would be great to understand what you can get from your users in each channel. And also from my point of view, the return on investment is a general KPI. So for sure you will have very profitable channels and very profitable campaigns, but you need also volume to complement them, or just campaigns that maybe now are not profitable, but if you can keep working hard and try to understand how to do it better, you will make them even positive. So
definitely own channels, as I would say, is like you own SEO, you own your email lists, and that's a way to leverage it. Definitely after what happened probably with non-owned lists like Facebook algorithm that turned likes that you had into like a paying revenue for them. I feel like that was a pain into all the, well, mainly B2C companies, but also like some of the B2B. So I totally agree on like the owned channels. And Alon was also willing to take a work on this. So Alon, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. It's actually interesting because B2B and B2C can be similar in some senses. It's just the number of touches, attribution, and sales cycle are the big difference. So first level engagement, we both agree, I think all of us agree on content and SEO being a critical path. If you're asking the question about channel, email is still king to deliver to a target list the relevant content. Ideally, also you want to place videos, but that's different content. We're not talking about content, but I'm talking about channel in front of that content. For B2B specifically, in the view that I am experienced in, you want to go to as much one to few, because it's not really one to one. That's mainly sales or BDRs. One to few, I mean by you slice your target ABM or ABM light, if you want to call it, by a persona in a vertical. So for example, e-commerce companies and the target customer experience leader, or it can be IoT companies with a VP of engineering leader. And then you serve them the content across. Email is still king. People, I don't know why the world thinks email is not sexy and good. It's number one at the end of the day if you have the right target and the right content. And then lookalike models have been working well for me on different medias to drive attributed engagement, first touch, middle touch, not always last touch, LinkedIn and others. So those are the things that I would stick to. And in specific B2B enterprise, mainly events and webinars have been amazing as a platform to deliver thought leadership, content, and customer advocacy, where either they are high touch events, which are very much about facilitating of a content and a theme, or a webinar which talks about one topic in a one-to-many approach. So that's my views about that.
That's great, Alon. Thanks. Like this webinar, right? One notch topic. Precisely.
Exactly.
Let's see what Dave has to take on this, since he's an expert on B2B.
Okay. So definitely agree with everything Alon said. I think at the end of the day, you know, it's a different podcast, but you know, content is king. So you can't go do your SEO. You really can't do your SEM. You can't do your email marketing. You can't do your influencer marketing unless you have a content strategy in place that meets the requirements of the business that you're actually in. Specifically for Agora, what we've kind of done is we've said, and I'll take this from the developer perspective. While we do run SEM heavily, you know, a lot of what we ultimately get out of it is a different kind of metric than what we would look at from a product owner persona perspective. On the product owner persona perspective, we would say this is an MQL. So it's a marketing qualified lead. which then converts into a qualified sales lead. And so there's a really clear path that I think we all understand related to that. For the developer side of the fence, though, what we're really trying to do is we're trying to drive active users. And so it's a different kind of metric that we're after. And the way you ultimately communicate with those developers through channels is different than with product owners. So for us, while we do SEM and we do plenty of LinkedIn, please like all our stuff when you see it and share it. Bonuses for everybody, which is great. But when we do developer marketing, a lot of what we also do is put our brand out into the marketplace in Twitter and in Facebook, and believe it or not, in Instagram as well, because we're trying to expand our brand reach to a very niche community. And to Alon's point, when you're doing B2B, you're really doing B2B2C. And a lot of the tactics that we'll implement revolve around trying to take the Agora brand and sticking the brand name into the consumer market in places that we know developers are actually hanging out.
Mm-hmm. So definitely, like, do your work and your research and find where your audience is, right? And put it right there in front of like whatever they use. It's either any channel, right? Any channel that they are at as a community. I guess it's all about like building the community that surrounds your brand, and that can be a community of developers, of product managers, or in our case, in ForceManager, we have a community of field sales reps, because at the end of the day, we know that it's not like the best tool for every salesperson out there, but it is exceptionally good to that community of field sales rep, and we try to focus our efforts on where these people are. And we have been seeing successes on, either LinkedIn, Facebook ads for, remarketing them whenever they are at our website. And that has been working exceptionally for us. And so I'll move very quick to the next questions. I have a couple of questions left, and I don't want to miss out on anything. And we'll start with Alon now. I would like to know, what is your ideal structure of a team or of a company?
Okay. So let's focus on marketing first. I'm used to having the marketing and the BD team also, but I'm going to split the BD team to the side. When you focus on enterprise, but also mid-market as your target audience, I believe that usually the first two that have to be in place are going to be, you'll be surprised, maybe ops and performance marketing, because otherwise every dollar goes to what? I don't know. I have to have some idea of attribution and return, or the number one metric for me is payback on MQL and payback on SQL. That's the first thing I need, because then that clears for me sense out of all the noise. And the second thing is start investing in content. So is it a content marketing? Is it an editorial? Is it a hub? Everybody can trust that. That's the structure. The next thing is you need your classic demand, which I like to split into ABM and growth. Growth will be more like the inbound. I think Dave talked about SCM heavily and all those. Let's put all of those together into growth and inbound and have one. And the second one will be more the ABM, or targeted digital marketing by display, lookalikes, etc. So those two are a bit different. One of them more outbound, one of them is more inbound. And the next things, it depends on the scale and size of marketing and budget, is you should have a event / PR if you have to mix it out or separate it. Lately, unfortunately, I know this could be a conversation. I just don't want to go to PR firms anymore. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of the word retainer. I'm tired of paying that much money. Sure, this can be an interesting topic, but I'm just not seeing the ROI, respectfully. Sorry, any PR people on the call. Love to get you to ping me at Alon on LinkedIn and give you my thoughts, or convince me otherwise. Different topic. And then analytics, of course, and then in product marketing, and that's it. A life cycle, community, everything else can be afterwards. And then you need a very strong BD partnership, either under marketing or under sales, that can really go along And then you can eventually develop vertical and industry and persona and all those, which really gives you the one-to-few versus one-to-many. That's the structure I believe in. It was very quick, but basically performance ops.
In a summary, like 5 people, Alon. Like who are the 5 people that you need in the marketing department?
Performance ops, growth, ABM, events, and content. That's it.
Okay, definitely not a PR, right?
No. That's luxury when you have time.
That's funny. That was a great answer. Thanks, Alon. Moving back to Dave. What are your thoughts about your ideal team? And let's focus on marketing. That's right. We are all marketing heads here.
Yeah.
So who do you have in your team?
Yeah. So Alon brought up one of my favorite
Okay.
Alon brought up one of my favorite topics, which was PR. And so, you know, one of the things I've tried to do, because PR has really changed, and it doesn't mean what it used to mean even 5 years ago. Yeah. What we've done with PR at Agora, because we actually think it's a key point, but we're actually utilizing our PR team skills in kind of a different way, which is to actually help us produce influencer marketing campaigns. Exactly. And influencer related bylines and things like that really kind of put our brand out into the marketplace. Just running a press release and getting it picked up by a bunch of newspapers doesn't do you anything.
Agree.
Doesn't do you any good. So PR is, you know, it's definitely part of our strategy, and it's one of the key components. We've just shifted what we do with it today. Growth marketing is another key position inside our Agora marketing team. That position, though, can't succeed unless we have our ops in place. And so it's, you know, everything that comes in from the marketing organization goes into our CRM system. There's drip programs tied back to marketing automation systems. And none of it makes any sense if you can't actually understand what's happening. So ops is also another key area that we focus on with the marketing team at Agora as well. And then the last kind of like key position specific to our business, and this is a little bit old school, but it's events. And really having a strong understanding of what events are and mean to our company. So what we've done, since we have these 2 distinct personas that we go after, we've got 2 different tracks of events that the company goes to. It does every possible hackathon known to mankind. We try to get to all of the hackathons that we can possibly get to reach out to the developer community. And then on the product owner side of the fence, we tend to go after vertical markets that make a lot of sense for us. So retail or broadcasting, social discovery is also another huge space for us. And we try to go into those markets and we try to talk to product owners and brand strategists that would be looking to implement real-time communications into their applications. So we really try to take our marketing employees on the marketing team and really focus them in on specific channels that will ultimately help our overall sales efforts.
Cool. Thanks, Dave, a lot. And let's move to B2C then. What are the key roles in the marketing department that you have, Xavi?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say that there are not the 2 marketing teams equal in the different companies. So you need to know that. So I maybe it's classic, but I would like to say that because you need to know what are your core channels or core product or core tactics to get your traffic, and then invest and hire the best people there. If not, so that there is a trade-off between in-house and also outsourcing. So before validate the traffic acquisition from one channel. So I really believe that agencies and also consulting firms could help really very well. But if we focused in our core channels, and I have to say an structure or different names or job titles for several people in the team. So I definitely go for a specialist, vertical specialist. So in terms of performance, I would like to have a specialist for SEM, another one for SEO, and another one for Facebook ads, Facebook social ads. Okay. So, but having said the first part, so you need to validate that that's your channel, the way you can scale your marketing campaign. So if not, you are hiring qualified people that you will never get the most from them. So, and they will get frustrated. So it will be better to start outside of the company. And then another one in terms of SEO. So I would like to make sure that content is the king at the moment and still the king, and will be the king for the next few years for sure. So so I would like to have a content manager or someone who is taking so much care about that field, and also email marketing. So email marketing in terms of chief revenue. So a specialist looking for and having and optimizing your database and all the funnel. And also another one, if it's probably it will not be the most common, but just one people focused in conversion and also having a better loyalty and repetition from your customers. So that would be there is a lot of room to improve your marketing campaigns, but also a lot of room for your synergies. So having someone an analytic profile, looking for new opportunities, new synergies, and also new ways to do cross-sell and upsell to our customers, or to get more repetition from your actual customers. So that would be really great. And also business development. So I really think that having agreements with not your competitors, but with someone in the same industry with a lot of synergies to have economic product or whatever cooperation. So you can get a lot of you can do a lot of business just dealing with another company. So maybe they will have traffic and you will get you will have products. So let's try to figure out different ways to collaborate together. So that's from my experience, it's really great. So there are a lot of websites with a lot of traffic, and they don't know what to do with them. So what to do with that traffic. So that would be great. Yeah, probably that would be some focused in pull and some with inbound or push traffic.
Great. The diversity of marketing, this is what we saw here. It's when I think of like the different departments of a company, it's definitely, all in marketing is where we have probably the most different roles, especially if you compare to sales. Okay, sales is mainly selling. You can develop sales or you can sell. But here in marketing are like so many specialties that we all need to handle, and I guess you have to prioritize what's most important for your business first, and go and take it from there. Definitely here, how I structure my department is I have an inbound person, an outbound person, a PR, and a product. So these are like my 4 pillars that I found here in ForceManager and that I built over the past 6 months, and it has worked quite well. All the way through, especially I think because we agreed all on the numbers. And at the end of the day, to myself, it's like, talking again about PR, and how we structured it is not, they handle events as well, and they have the numbers really clear, so they can be accountable of what they do. And in terms of, newspapers and all those offline worlds, we don't track that much, but especially if they can put backlinks to our website. That really helps inbound, and those are like a few of the numbers that we put on the table of PR. I think we are running out of time, and so really quickly, what I would say, it's just like I like this question a lot. So I'll just ask yourself, if you could find yourself 10 years younger, what would you advise yourself about what to learn, or most importantly, what not to learn? I'll start as in the beginning. We started with Dave. So you, Dave, go ahead.
Okay, it's a really interesting question, and the first thing I would do is try to figure out how to prevent hair loss, because this is just this is just terrible.
For stress, right?
But beyond the hair loss issue, I think recognizing, especially from when I started having the managerial or started moving into management, really recognizing the importance of project management. You know, if I was saying anything to myself from way back when, it would be you get your project management organized in such a way that you can really kind of control and as you put, Jordi, the 4 pillars of your marketing organization. Because it's really easy to have a bunch of great ideas and to go do all these other things. But if it's not organized in a project management system or in a way where you're actually controlling what's actually happening, then it becomes very difficult and unruly. You know, when you look at our project management system, I'm not going to say which system we're using, but when you look at all of the things together that have to happen in a given week, it's a little bit scary. Now, when things are positioned and you've got 5 different employees working on different aspects of it, it's not that big of a deal. So project management is definitely the key thing, other than the hair loss, I would say to myself.
That's great. That's definitely. Xavi, what about you? You don't have any hair loss issues, not at all. So
I'm
Yeah.
so jealous. It's ridiculous.
So from my point of view, so the first thing I would like to start saying no more often and earlier. So yeah, that would probably saying no helps you to prioritize your product. And that would be the first one. And the second one would be not being perfect, so being good enough but fast. So if I would like to go fast, and well, as fast as possible, it doesn't matter if you are the number 1 in terms of quality or in terms of accuracy. For your, it's much better to go big and fast, and then you will have time enough to improve your marketing campaigns and to hire specialists to do it in the best way. But being fast, and also thinking big. Yeah, I know that everyone will say that, but think big in terms of try to understand if what you are doing now it's real scalable. So if how you will having all the time the chip that doing the things at the same way that as you will manage 10 times the volume you get now. So that would be, because no one pays for having a perfect marketing campaign or just one small marketing campaign. So companies are looking for massive strategies, validating strategies, so the path to profitability. So that's not one perfect campaign. So think big and trying to validate your strategy for 10 times your actual volume.
That's great. Thank you, Xavi. And Alon, what do you have left there? If these guys left you any ideas? I'm thinking of mine already.
They robbed mine completely. Now, 10 years ago was a different world. SaaS was not mainstream. SaaS is now the natural, the common. So the one thing I would, well, not the one, the 2 things that go together that I would tell my younger, more beautiful, more toned self would be measure in order to be agile. Because as I see it, it's hard to be agile in a SaaS, rapid, crazy world without having the data there to help you drive the agile decisions. And KPIs in place are great to talk about, but if you don't have a baseline, all you can use is your experience. Ideally, as a marketing leader, you want to use your experience and a baseline in the company. So when you enter something or you embark on something or you add a product or add something, make sure that you stand behind it and you say, we need the data all the way from top of the funnel to attribution, to close rates, to sales numbers. Without data, it's hard to make decisions. And in a crazy SaaS world, I think Dave mentioned about the hundreds of projects going on. You have to have data in order to get the insights. So that's the number one takeaway I would give myself 10 years ago.
That's great. That's great. Those young kids, if we knew all these, especially saying no, project management, metrics, it's like probably the three things that I would highlight of what you said. And to myself, I just want to like recap a little bit on what I would tell myself just very quickly. My younger self is definitely soft skills. It's like something that I see a difference in any company. Those people that have soft skills move faster, and it's not probably a priority. It would go right after those that you guys said, but yeah, soft skills is also like something that a lot of people are missing nowadays, and it helps you a lot, I believe. So just to leave it here, I think I'll pass it over to Ryan, but right before that, I think we have to sing a little bit of a happy birthday to you, Ryan. Today is Ryan's birthday. So I'll do it, and you guys can follow me, please.
Okay, only in your own languages. Like, let's get this multi, right? So
Mazel, mazel.
All right, you can lead it, but we can all sing in different languages.
Happy birthday.
Feliz cumpleaños para mí. Yeah, we got it. And all together now. Happy birthday to me.
Bravo. Thank you, Ryan.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. No, what a great panel. And the first thing I want to say is that my advice to my younger self is to get in front of more people like you more often earlier on. It never amazes me how in a short amount of time you can crowdsource the brain power of so many people, especially from across the world. And some of the things that stuck out to me today are things like PR is changing. You have to be innovative with your data. If you're not getting data and not using it, then you're essentially like being left out. I love the talk of content is king and that SEO only works if you've got the content behind it, but make sure that you're creating the right team members with the right specificity to do that. Everything from, hair loss at the same time I'm working with your bro there, like together we are stronger. And I think that to be able to have such great insights from everybody and really determine the difference between the B2B and the B2C. There are some specific differences. So I took a bunch of notes here, and I'm sure that for all the younger people out there, which we are all younger until we get older the next year with our birthday, crowdsourcing each other's information like this is key. So the other thing I just would like to say is that you don't have to be serious to be a hero. And there was a lot of humor. There was a lot of fun that everybody had. And I just want to remind everybody that, without humor, things become serious and business should be fun. And it's exciting to see successful people that are past the A, past the B rounds, raising millions of dollars with hundreds of employees, that at the end of the day, you're not only being a hero and fighting startup crime and rescuing people, but you're having fun while you're doing it. And I think that's refreshing as I grow older today.
That's great.
All right, so everybody, we do these every week. So check out scaleupacademy.io. And if you know anybody who'd be great on the show, reach out to us and let us know. The Facebook Live is live, so feel free to share that because we can continue to have this learning, create more and more momentum to help save more lives for the heroes that you are in the scale-up world.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm gonna peace out here. Everybody else, it was great to see you.